Hello students, in this class we discuss the chapter data structures, chapter 4 of the syllabus. Now to begin with, the basic objective of having computers is to process the data, correct? A large amount of data for various applications have to be processed and the proper information or the results have to be generated. So in this context, the data structures, in processing of the small amount of data, probably there is no much difficulty to deal with the data, to handle the data using computers or the procedures. But when the data becomes huge and complex, there is a need of managing the data in a proper and systematic way, so that accessing the data and using that data for proper applications and tools becomes very convenient for the user. So, in that respect, the concept of data structures will study. By definition, what is this data structure? Any language which is used to write programs has to work with the data items which are stored. A language has to access the data which the computer understands and stores in the memory. So, when there is lot of data stored in the memory, a program running in the main memory, the data is stored in the secondary storage device. When it is when a program is running, some data has to be brought into the main memory and it has to be properly used by the programming constructs. Also, there is a way of there must be a way of systematically storing the data. So accessing the data becomes convenient and easier. So all these data structures by definition means all the processes involved to efficiently make use of the data, maybe regarding the storage of data and accessing of the data using the programming constructs. So definition of data structure we will see now. The data structure means it is a way of organizing the data and storing the data and structuring the data. The way of organizing and storing and accessing the data is called data structures. So it is a systematic way of storing and organizing data and also accessing the data. Where to store the data? Data is stored in the memory devices. So in the memory and the programs. We write programs to make use of this data and generate results. So with respect to this area, accessing the data from the memory, storing the data in a systematic way by making use of the programming constructs. So that is called data structures. And in the chapter, we are having the concepts of classification of data structures and various types, right? And the algorithms, starting from simple algorithms to access the data, arrays, stacks, queues, and the other data structures. So basically we start with understanding these data structures. Now, how do we make use of that? How do we make use of that data structures? In the memory, memory data is organized in terms of bytes. It is a sequence of bytes. How this is taken up by the programs? How we represent the data? Data is of different data types. As far as programs is concerned, data is of different types. Different types. It may be integers, it may be number data having integers, or it may be floating point, it may be character type of data, or any type of data. So all these data, different data types have to be properly manipulated by various programming constructs, and accordingly they have to be stored. So when they are stored in the memory, we say these are just collection of bytes of some data in some location in the memory. But when they are accessed, they have to be properly taken up according to their data types. So in this, there are three steps usually, the various steps of handling this data. How to handle this data using data structures? So this can be having a mathematical model. First we have a mathematical model. A mathematical model of data structure to represent data structure using data structures, the mathematical model. Then the next stage is implementation of this. Implementation of data structures using any particular programming language. The next stage. And the other next stage of this is analysis. Analysis of data structures. So here in the analysis of data structures, we talk about algorithms, and efficiency of algorithms is studied using the space and time complexities. With respect to the memory, right, whether the algorithm is efficient, right, this is space, how much memory it will consume. Right. A particular algorithm written to solve a particular problem, how much space or how much memory it will consume, and at the execution time, how much time it will take to execute that. Depending on these two parameters, whether an algorithm is efficient or not, this can be analyzed. So in these three different stages, we will understand or make use of these data structures concepts. So data structure, basically we come up with a mathematical model of representing the data, right? And how to implement that representation. This is just a model having some strategy or having some theory, right? Propose that, a model, and we implement this using the data structures of a particular language, maybe in C++, maybe in C, or in any other language. How to implement that? What are the features given by a language to deal with the different types of data, so that in the memory they can be stored, and while accessing they can be properly utilized in programs. And the next level, as I told, analysis of data structures. So this completely describes the concept of data structures. But only we talk about the representation of data and the implementation of data structures using languages, especially in C++ in this chapter. And the other details, higher details, will not be in the syllabus. This will be dealt in other courses you take up in the future for higher studies. Now let us start with the data structures and the classification of data structures. Data structures, as the definition says, it is a systematic way, it is an approach to organize and store data. To organize data. You know, the basic objective of this organization of data is to make the process very simple. Think of a huge amount of data, whatever it is, right? To deal with that data, we should be having a definite plan of organization. When you store the data according to a particular system, then it becomes very convenient to access it, right? Think of storing the books in a library, for example. If you store books wherever there is space, wherever you can, right? Probably this is not the way to store the books. This is not at all called organization. So when you need to access a book, searching becomes very difficult, right? Because you have not sorted the books according to the subject wise or as they arrive. There is no order at all. So when it comes to search for a book, definitely it is very difficult to search for books, and even storing new and new books. Totally all the processes involved to organize these books becomes very difficult when you don't organize the books properly. So organizing the data plays a very important role in further using of the data, like to access it and make use of that in applications. So next we see the classification of data structures. Classification. Mainly the data structures are classified as primitive and non-primitive data structures. Primitive and non-primitive data structures. The primitive data structures. Primitive data structures are the data structures which are directly implemented by using machine level instructions. Right? They are just like built-in data types available in any programming language. For example, in C or C++, there are certain built-in data types. So these simple data types available, these are called the primitive data structures. So data structure is a general statement to explain all these data types, including primitive as well as non-primitive. So primitive, these are directly available or can be implemented by machine level instructions. Simple example we will take up later. And before that, I will complete the classification. In primitive data structures, we have examples like ints, floating point, character type, then pointers, reference. These are the various examples coming under the primitive data structures. And non-primitive. In non-primitive, we have three types: arrays, lists, and files. In non-primitive, we have three types further: arrays, lists, and files. And in further arrays, we have one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, and multi-dimensional arrays. Multi-dimensional arrays. Three types under arrays: one-dimensional array, two-dimensional, and three-dimensional arrays. In lists, we have the two types: linear data structures and non-linear data structures. In lists, we have further two types: linear data structures and non-linear data structures. And linear data structures, further we have the types: stacks, queues, and linked lists. Stacks, queues, and linked lists in linear data structures. And in non-linear, we have trees and graphs. Understood? So if you look at the whole classification of data structures again, let me tell you again. Basically, there are two types: primitive and non-primitive. In primitive, these are nothing but the data structures which are directly implemented using machine level instructions. They are available in a language given, right? In terms of the basic or fundamental data types like integers, floating point, character or string type of data, pointers, reference. All these types are directly implementable using machine level instructions. There are specific instructions to deal with integers or any type of data. That is why commonly we have seen in terms of fundamental or basic data types. Next is non-primitive. The classification will be basically of three types: arrays, lists, and files. So arrays, one-dimensional, two-dimensional, and multi-dimensional are the three types of arrays. Lists. In lists we have further classification like linear data structures and non-linear. In linear we have stacks, queues, and linked lists. Non-linear, trees and graphs. And files, you know, basic storage of data in computers is nothing but files. There are no further classification. Basically, files can also be like text files and binary files. Binary. The basic classification, just two types, we are having in the further chapters. Text files and binary. Anyway, file, as you know, files are the basic units of storage of data in a computer. For whatever the data type, Basically, in memory, we store those characters of data as files having a particular name. So, at the lowest level of storage, files will be just collection of bytes of information. Right? When they are processed using some languages, they will be having different forms for the user, like maybe of integers or any data type. So, files at the level, they don't have any difference in the type. All they are nothing but the sequence or the collection of bytes having some file name and stored somewhere in the memory locations. Arrays. So regarding all these arrays, lists and linear as well as non-linear, in the further sections of the same chapter we are going to study. Now let us see primitive data structures in detail. As I told, primitive data structures are the data structures which are implemented directly by machine level instructions. Any computer language, for example C++, will be having instructions separately to deal with these basic data types. And all these operations of this we are going to see further. These operations can be directly implemented using machine instructions. So for example, a command to create the data structures like this example. In this one we are going to create a data structure. Simple data type with the variable x having the data type integer. So there is a specific instruction which is executed when we execute or run this statement. Internally, separate instruction will be there which will be executed when a user writes a statement like this. So internally, these are built into the system. That is why these are called primitive. Any language gives facilities in terms of programming statements to deal with these integers or any other type. Now we list some basic operations on primitive data structures. Basic operations. There are 4 basic operations allowed or possible on primitive data structures. They are create, select, update and destroy or delete. Create, select, update and destroy or delete. What is create operation? All these are on primitive data structures as on how we create it, how to select, how to make use of, and how to change the values and how to delete those when we don't want it. That's all. Create operation. For example, as I have written in C++, int x. When we write this type of a declaration of a variable of any data type like int x, float, average, avg. What is this? We are allocating the memory so as to store an integer variable, integer value in the variable x. We are allocating a memory space so as to store a floating point value in the variable average. Suppose you assign a value like int x is equal to 10. The value present at the memory location becomes 10. So what is this we are doing? We are doing nothing but creating the data structures. So when we declare variables of any type using a language, example C++, we are creating the data structures. It need not be only for basic data types. Even when you create an object, like for example student S1, S2, it may be another type like structure, employee, E1. What we do here, we allocate the memory so that we can store appropriate values in these variables S1, S2, E1. Maybe they are simple structure variables or class variables or objects. So this is how we can allocate memory. Indirectly, logically we say creating the data structures so that later we can make use of this in our programs. Simple. The next operation is select. Selecting means accessing the data structure which we have declared. When you write simple programs, first what you do, the variables needed to be written in the program are declared. So declaration means, as I told, creating it. And whenever you assign the value or use those in terms of C in or C out statements or for any kind of computation statements in the program, that means you are selecting those, using or utilizing the value present in those data structures. To be simple, these are nothing but data types only, we know it. Integer is data type and it's a simple variable of the type integer. All these basic variables of fundamental types will be the primitive data structures. Create, selected when we use that. For example, cout x, what you are doing here, displaying the value of x on the monitor, or when you are storing the value of x in another variable y, you are assigning it, the value of x will be assigned to the value of the variable y. We are anyway making use of the value, that is called select. Even when you are using SQL statements, are you not using select star from table name? What you do there, the values of the variables or the components or the fields you will be utilizing in the programming statements. Without using, what is the use of those declarations? Correct? When you use those, then only there is the utilization of the variables. So, next one is update. Updating, as you know, simple meaning, we can change, modify the values assigned. Suppose you write a statement initially like x is 10, but later in the program you may change the value. Suppose x is 10, it's already created and we are using the value 10. Later in the program you may write x is equal to, suppose, x plus 1. What is this? Or x is equal to directly 500. The value of x, initially it was 10, now it has become x plus 1. If x is 10, x plus 1 becomes 11. The latest value, updated value of x. So we can update whenever we wish to do so in the program. The already assigned values you can change, modify, we can alter. X becomes 500 directly, we can assign. So all these cases say it is possible to update or modify or change the values of these data structures or variables. So this is true, as I told, with any kind of a variable, maybe floating point or character or maybe objects also. You can assign a different value. That is nothing but updating. Even in SQL, are you not using update statement to modify the existing value, to assign a new value, to compute a new value and assign to the variable? That is update. The last one is destroy or delete. After we use or make use of these values or variables, when the program is terminated, naturally the variables will be out of the scope. They are consuming the memory. What do you mean by creating those? They will be taking up some memory in the computer, correct? They occupy some space. That space has to be deallocated, correct? When you have finished the use of these variables must be cleared from the memory. Otherwise, what happens? Suppose you have hundreds of files in the computer which you never use. Maybe years together you will not be using those. What is the use of those files? They are simply consuming the space here. Better you delete them or dislocate, move to some other location. They are unnecessarily consuming the memory. So same thing will be there in ordinary variables also. When the program gets terminated, either automatically the clearing of the memory must happen or you must do it yourself. There are statements to destroy, like in destructors we have seen. What is a destructor? It will deallocate the memory allocated by the constructors, correct? When you create it. So, destroy or deleting local variables when they are out of scope, when that particular block is out of the execution point, then naturally they will be getting deleted. The memory becomes clear so that the available memory can be utilized for further references or declarations. So all four simple operations will be there in the primitive data structures, like create, select, update and destroy. Hope you understood this. Thank you. And in the next section we will see arrays and the classification of arrays. Thank you.